Hi, you've probably noticed that in the modules that you make, there's no way to make folders or subfolders. And that's because modules are not intended to be a file server. They're intended to be a pathway to learning. So you can link to folders if you want, or you can use a few strategies to make your modules seem organized, even though you can't use folders and subfolders. All right, so what I'm going to do is show you one of my only 9 modules in my AP class. I only have 9 because there are only 8 units. So I need to keep the units in the College Board organizational structure to make sure that I am preparing students for that exam. Anyway, so the first unit is called the Chemistry of Life. And in that unit, I have 13 different things the kids have to do, right? And that's a lot of files, and they need organizing in order for kids to make sense of it. I use 3 strategies to keep the kids organized. One is to use a consistent naming convention to make assignments predictable. The second one is to use headers to organize sets of information meaningfully. And then the third is I use indentation as a proxy for folder organization and subfolders. All right, so let me show you what I've done in my first unit here by opening it up for you. So with regard to naming conventions, um, I use action verbs so that kids know what they're supposed to do when they click a link. So when I have a reading assignment, the first word in my assignment is read. When I have an annotation assignment, it's annotate. When it's a video watching assignment, I tell them to watch a video. So I've chosen action terms as my consistent naming convention. I've used headers to generate separation between different topics. So in this unit, I begin with an overview that explains what's in the unit, and then content for chapter 1 and chapter 3, and then finally quizzes at the end. And in each of these, I use 3 terms to help students think about what they're doing and why they're doing it. I have one header called Learn for chapter 2 and one header called Practice, right? So first they sort of gather knowledge and then they try to apply that knowledge in the practice subheader. And that's true in chapter 3 as well. There's a learning set and a practice set. And then finally at the end, the third sort of action that kids do is demonstrate their learning after having learned and practiced it. All right, so those are my headers, and in a moment I'll show you how to make a header. And then finally, I use indentation when I move documents around in this module to show that these are embedded within the Learn subheader. So here there are 4 documents that I consider learning activities for chapter 2, and there's 1 document that I consider a practice activity. All right, so the only thing you need to do is, in order to do this kind of organization, I've already taught you how to make assignments and how to give them titles, is how to make headers and how to indent. Since indenting is the easiest thing, I'm going to show you how to do that right away. Once you've made an assignment, you can click these 3 vertical dots next to it to alter the level of indentation. You can either decrease the indentation, which pulls it to the left, or increase indentation, which pulls it to the right. It's really easy, and you can move assignments around to change their order simply by dragging these little double row of vertical dots to the position where you want it. Okay, to make the headers, you go to the top of your module, the module title bar, and click plus. And instead of making an assignment, you select text header and then write whatever you want. I've already created these headers. You can create new ones by typing something in, or you can select from old ones you've made, so you only have to do a particular header once, and then you can recycle it as often as you like. So if I wanted another Learn segment for a new chapter, I would click Learn. You can indent it now or indent it later. I do it later so that it looks good. And it appears at the very bottom of the module, and then you just move it to where you want it. So in other words, if I were going to add another chapter, I might create a new learning module, by a new set of documents associated with that chapter with this header. All right, so that's all there is to it. I'm going to delete that one because I don't want it. That is how I organize material within a module so that it's a little clearer, even in the absence of folders.